Now it's early January, and I bet you a lot of you out there are planning what to do next year. In fact, this is our #1 contact time for clients across the country looking to hire me and have me come out to their land and build their property for them, design their property, design their hunt, their habitat, and help them with herd recommendations too. When I go to a property, I'm going to try to detail a lot of those steps throughout this year on different client parcels, and certainly on the parcels that I hunt on too. But the first thing and the first step on any whitetail management plan and any whitetail property is food, and that foundation of food. Now, if you have food in May, June, July, August, September, that's great, but you're not going to build a deer herd during those months. Unfortunately, deer hunts and deer herds and hunting opportunities are only built during the hunting season. So deer shift their patterns a lot, especially bucks. Where bucks are at during the summer is not where they're at in the fall, and typically vice versa. Not to say they don't travel back and forth, but typically if you have a great property, you have a deer herd in the fall, that's when you can influence the herd, and not during the summer. It all starts with food. So when I'm on a client parcel, the first thing I'm looking for is where can we locate food that's hidden, that doesn't infringe on the depth of cover of the property, meaning it's not in the center of a 40, it's off to the side, or a 40-acre parcel, it's off to the side. And most importantly, if I'm putting food here, can I walk around it? Is it hidden? Is it hidden from hunting pressure? And can I make sure that every deer that goes to that food plot feels secure once they get to that food plot? You know, traveling to that food plot is a big risk for deer, and then at that food source is even a big risk for deer. So once they get to that food source, I want them to feel completely secure, and that food plot has to be hidden. But it all starts with food. Once food can be determined and defined in a given property, then you start building from there. Once food is located, you can use food to locate doe bedding areas, because they'll want to bed as close to the food source as possible, and usually within that first 50 to 100 yards. And then once you have where those deer, those does are going to bed on a daily basis, then you can define where buck bedding takes place. So the first step in any property management is locating that food. You can start to build the habitat into the property from there. You can build where deer travel, where bucks travel, put water holes on the way to food. I do not like putting water holes in food. That's a big no-no, because water defines movement. They're already going to the food in the first place, so don't put water at food, put them on the way there. My nearest water hole right here is right up on this ridge, about 150 yards away, and right over this, in this direction, about 150 yards away. So we're hunting that movement out of bow stands coming into this food. We're allowing this food to take place every day, the movement to take place every single day. And once we have that foundation of food, then it all comes together from there. Once we have all those habitat pieces set, then we can apply stand locations to hunt those movements, to hunt the backside of buck bedding areas, to hunt close to the food on the way there. As long as you can get in and out of a stand and not spook the deer on that food plot ever, then it's appropriate for a stand or blind. But starting with food, you have to have that food. That defines the foundation of every single parcel. Ag is not, I will repeat, is not a great food source. It's always changing, it's always rotating, it's there or not. And at the same time, I don't want those deer feeding on my neighbor's property an hour and a half before dark every single day. I want them on my property. I want my property to be the bottom of the funnel of daylight movement, which is that afternoon food source. And then they're moving off of that at night and feeding over on the neighbors. So I want to control that movement. It's a very small window. You don't need a lot of size to hold a lot of deer right before dark and then send them on their way after dark. You want to be the bottom of that funnel of daylight movement. Once you have that system in place, your stand locations fall in line, your access falls in line, and you can have an assemblage of stands, and you have to have that food. If you don't have that food, then the cover that you create for bucks, the bedding area that you create for does and fawns, why are they going to use it if they can't relate to food on a daily basis in those locations? In this location, when it's about 50-50 ag around here, those deer don't want to travel more, especially the does and fawns. They don't want to travel more than 100 yards to their afternoon food source every single day. If they're starting to be pushed out to 300-400 yards away to the nearest food source, then why are they going to use that cover on a daily basis? They don't want to make that travel and that trip every single day to get to that food. So you want to tightly compact this food and cover and bedding areas on a small parcel. And again, it all starts with food. I can't say that enough. And so when you're looking at your plans for this coming season and you're looking, how am I going to make sure that I have deer on my property every single day? If you don't have that foundation of food, your cover's dead, and you have to have that food. You have to make that food last the entire season. I encourage you to look up my 2016, 17, 18 best food plot mixes. They'll come right up on YouTube at the top, and look at how we manage some of those blends. But food is so critical. Your property design starts with food. When I look at my clients, that's what we start with first, and that defines how we move around the property during the day, let alone how the deer move. Try it. I look forward to this coming season. I look forward to hearing about it from you on this channel. Let me know how it goes, and you might want to reposition some of your food. I think that'll help you out. Make sure that you have that hunting season food source, and you can build that herd and hunting parcel of your dreams.